Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Monday, February 23rd, about 4:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Come to tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we are in a mild correction. If we take a look at the trend gauge, market leaders are under neutral. And like any time, there's always a bull market somewhere. So, right, you have pockets of strength, memory stocks, fiber optics, some semiconductor equipment. And then you have a lot of things failing, breakouts not working, very weak follow through. So, having that neutral arrow there. Short term, all major indexes are rejecting the 21 EMA, and then all major indexes are also struggling at the 50 SMA, but all remain above that long-term 200 simple moving average. What happened today? Software and financials, the laggards on the day getting hit quite hard, and then, a down day across the board, although the major indices continue to be in this big range. And for the Qs, we're talking over a 4 month range of just sideways action. Final numbers 21 over 21 lists, about flat on the day, down 7 basis points. 10 green, 1 neutral, 10 red. Turbo 12 down about a 0.5%, 4 green, 8 red. Mag 7, so we're using the mags now. MAGS down 1.6%. RG8 down about 1.5%. S&P down about 1%. Equate down 1.10. Qs down 1.22%. Equate down 1.45%. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 1.63%. Mid caps down 1.75. Russell 2000 down 1.5. 60/40 stock and bond down about a 0.5%. GROTECTION down 0.83%, and then TurboTection down 0.78%. Let's get into the interest correlation chart of S&P 500, and we are still in this big range. 6920 rejected today, and 7,000 the upper end of the range, and then the 6789 kind of these lows here. We closed right at the 100-day moving average, but rejected the 821 and 50 days. So again, not the most bullish thing, but in a range, moving averages sometimes can be have less significance. So even the 6720 low here is a big spot. And so, just in a sideways market, strength is getting sold and weakness isn't seeing a whole lot of follow through either. RSP holding up well, flagging at the highs. Q, similar thing. Is this a bear flag potentially setting up? Rejecting the 821.50 and 100-day moving average. So definitely risk off. Still in a range here. Close right at that 600 level, which is an important spot here if you look left on the chart. Mag 7 relative weakness, potential bear flag at the 200-day, or is this going to invalidate and rally back up? But again, really needs to get some bounces. And the 62.5 area is important. You can see. So if it reclaims that, that would be a bullish thing. Dow Jones losing the 50-day today after showing some nice relative strength and kind of breaking this little flag lower. Mid cap, some RS, but getting a little bit choppy here, but still building higher lows, holding at the highs. Russ 2000 rejected this downtrend line, closing right at the 50-day moving average. See if this can build some higher lows off that. Our potential bear flag here, or is this going to invalidate? Would need to really reclaim this 70.5 spot. FFTY's got a lot of gold miners, so RS up about 1% and change. VIX continues to live above 20. That's a problem. Volatility is expanding. The dollar maybe starting to build some higher lows, big range. GLD, nice relative strength, breaking out of this little base. GDX as well. Talked about this last week. Nice move out of this flag. Silver, same thing. Nice wedge pop. Bitcoin, again, relative weakness, looking like a bear flag, but it could invalidate. So be ready for both sides. Bonds continuing their strength, and that coincides with weakness in rates. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. So, percent stocks by the 5-day moving average getting low, kind of middle ground, 40 and 39 for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. This high VIX continues to be a concern. Breakout, just a lot more volatility. And again, the new normal market environment is these big ranges, and that's what you get in a, 20 plus VIX. So, would love to see this get back below 20. Let's see. So there's a Citrini article today, and he was basically talking about the hypothetical scenario on the impact AI could have on markets and the global economy. And so you saw names like DoorDash, American Express, KKR, Blackstone, Uber, MasterCard, Visa, Capital One, Apollo, all these names that could be affected saw some huge downside. And, pretty crazy that a Substack article, who knows if this was the real reason for the selling, right? Software stocks have already been weak, but this was kind of, the action in some of them today was, it seemed like a lot of the funds were just sell. They didn't care about what price, and they made another leg lower. So, horrible charts there. And just crazy that, Substack article could have this big of an effect on the mark on these stocks. I'll cover them when I get into the charts. But Wednesday, Nvidia earnings, that's the big thing this week, right? Nvidia's been going sideways for about 6 months now, so that's going to be a huge tell for the market. And then PPI on Friday. Kind of 6 days in this consolidation and all below the 8 and 21 EMA. Sectors wise, rare earth, gold, silver, copper, energy staples up on the day. Weakness, software, Bitcoin, regional banks, cyber, and airlines. GROTECTION today bought XLP and then trimmed ITB and UFO. RVAB 1.08 estimated balance at risk minus 3.67%. TurboTection shorted via OKLS, QBTZ, and RGTZ. So sprinkled in kind of the basket of the quantums. Stopped out at DOCN, no cushion into earnings tomorrow morning, and then added on to MU 1.76 RVAB, estimated balance at risk minus 5.61%. Bottom line, software and financials weak, metals show RS, and the major indexes continue to chop. Let's get into the charts. GROTECTION today at bought some XLP. You can see looking to break out of this continuation flag. This is where people have been going. Look at the RS line. People are going into safety. And then trimmed ITB, some weakness, and UFO, which is the space ETF. TurboTection added some shorts in QBTS, Oklo, and then RGTI. See if these, RGTI. See if these break these bear flags lower and continue. And then stopped out of DOCN, no cushion heading into earnings, and then added on to MU, looking to break out from this high type flag setup. Take a look at Sandus, looks amazing. Seagate, Western Digital, the whole group looks pretty good if it can hold. All right, and let's take a look at financials. XLF down almost 3.5%. Huge downside day. Software, another one making another leg lower. And just look at this. American Express down 7%. KKR, some of these private credit down almost 9%. Apollo down 5%. Blackstone down 6.5%. And just look at some of these software names. Duolingo, MDB getting hit today. Team, Dash, they just been, and then some of the other cybers, right? CrowdStrike down almost 10%. RBRK down almost 6%. Zscaler down 10%. So some crazy, crazy moves to say the least in some of these softwares. And basically kind of what oh, and then some other ones, right? Visa down 4.5%, MasterCard down almost 6%. And now here you're looking at concerns that AI disruption could slow high income spending, and kind of some more fears, right? AI adoption may displace white collar workers while boosting productivity and corporate margins. And kind of what he was saying is companies cut labor costs and reinvest in AI infrastructure, creating a self-reinforcing loop of automation. So, regardless if you believe it or not, all these charts are showing to stay away anyways. But let's take a look. 21 over 21 list. GLW major relative strength. These fiber optic stocks are the best. Kind of extended here now for a new position, but super strength. Sienna, another new high today. NVIS holding a nice bounce off the 21 EMA today. Sandus memory stocks look fantastic. COPX copper was another highlight today. COPX up almost 2%, and some of the miners looking great. ENPH hold well after finding support on the 21 EMA. VRT flagging here at the highs, getting tight. Tan continues to build higher lows up the right side. Coherent, another optics name, moving up. PSX pulling back to the 21 EMA and flagging out. GEV high and tight, some great strength in some of these alternative energy stocks. CAT machinery name holding up the highs, great. Generac flagging at the highs here, pulling back a little bit. ITB forming a cup and handle base. TTT pulling back to the top of the base. Micron setting up a high tight flag breakout. ILF pausing at these highs, but still looking constructive. FTAI consolidating in this flag. Teradyne high and tight, acting great. LUV sitting right at 21 EMA, and then Fastly, as long as this holds above the high volume close, looks normal. Turbo 12, AAOI, another optics name, kind of breaking out of this ascending base. See if this can show change in character and actually fall through. REMX looks great. Rare earth metals. ALB is another name that I like a lot in this ETF, breaking out. So some strength there. FCX, we own this in TurboTaction. It's great action, breaking out of this continuation flag. You had a 3 weeks tight pattern last week. You got a 10-year plus base, and you have and a tap of the 10-week moving average. So and saw the demand for copper really promising. Setup CG&X holding this gap days low. See if this can U-turn out. LBRT pulling back a little bit. Qnity, one of the best in the semiconductor equipment. Flag after breaking out of this IPO base. See if this can get some momentum if the weight of the market lifts. Modine flagging after this earnings gap. SOLS, same thing here. Flagging after a super strong move and on earnings. NXT, one of the solar leaders. See if this can crack this down trend line. Toll Brothers, not doing a whole lot, but just pulling back to the 21 EMA. ACMR flagging at the highs, another semiconductor equipment. And then AXTI pulling back a little bit, super high ATR name, but to me, this is kind of looking like an ascending base as well. See if this can break out, another one in the fiber optic space as well. Some other relative strength. Bloom Energy up 8.5%, looking very, very nice strength there. And then some other, so look at Lumentum, another optics name, just, huge move. DICR, huge shake off earnings, kind of coming back up strong. And then some of these other copper names, SCCO breaking out of this flag, HBM, ERO. So you can see the whole theme there is looking quite nice. And then, some of these oil and gas names, Tidewater having a great day. XOM continues, nice flag setting up here. You got XLE acting great. And let's see what else. And then some of these electronic names, FN breaking out of the space. Really nice chart, fits the theme with like Corning and whatnot in those names. So again, like we were saying, there is some strength elsewhere, like DE, monster move extended now. So no, there is some strength, but there is a lot of weakness. IGV, look at this, making new lows. Pretty crazy chart here. So again, kind of the similar message, staying nimble, not the environment to really press it. There's still a lot of tape bombs, but there are some places working, and so we're trying to have a piece in and just staying nimble and seeing what the market gives. So that is going to wrap it. As always, I like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. You can always reach out to me on X at ConnorJBates_. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, never hesitate to reach out. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, comment, share, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow.